and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be reacting to and breaking down Evil, episode 9, or season 3, episode 9. Demon of Money. Listen, last week's episode was a lot. This week's episode is a little bit more than that. There's just so much going on. So, jumping right in, we are in Dr. Boggs' office as Kristen is kind of beginning to process her grief from the murder of Valerie in the previous episode. She tells Dr. Boggs how Valerie's husband was showing strange behavior. But she says, I didn't warn her. I didn't warn anyone. What makes her feel even worse is that her egg will never grow. It will never be the person that it was supposed to be. But at the same time, she kind of says that she's worried about Andy, that he might never return. Further saying that, she feels guilt over that in some ways, him not returning could make her life simpler. Dr. Boggs assures her that, thoughts are not actions. And the conversation comes to a very quick halt when David texts her and she needs to leave. Furthering on Dr. Boggs' statement on thoughts not being actions, he also says to her something to the effect of thinking that your thoughts can change or control outcomes is like a very narcissistic trait. Thing to say, thing to believe, whatever. I have to say, the whole time that he was speaking to Kristen about all of this, about her conflicting feelings, really, like she feels guilt and responsibility over Valerie's death because her husband had come to her with odd concerns, right? And she never said anything to anybody about it. She didn't say anything to Valerie. She didn't say anything to David. She didn't say anything to Boggs. She didn't call the police. Like, she did nothing, right? And she feels guilty about it. At the same time, she feels relief that this baby is no more because she didn't want her genetic material out there to begin with, right? So she has very conflicting feelings on all fronts. And Dr. Boggs is very much, thoughts aren't actions, la, la, la. But then you have to look at what Dr. Boggs has been up to as of late, right? That we know of. Could be going back a little further. We don't know. I have my conspiracy theories. But just saying, right? On her way out, she catches the doctor singing along to the demonic record player. She asks him, what the fuck are you doing? It's like a form of free associative writing, he sort of explains to her. Giving her his half-finished manuscript to read. She kind of side-eyes everything he says and does, but, takes the book and leaves, or the pages of the book and leaves. At home later, Kristen is in utter confusion over Boggs's writing. It's absolute gibberish. When she opens it up and starts looking at it, it's Some of it's printed backwards. Some of it is in just weird, it's like gobbledygook. It's not letters, it's not numbers, it's not symbols. It's gobbledygook. She puts it aside and just sort of leaves it on the dining room table. But Lila finds it later and reads it by holding the pages up to a mirror. These kids, as sweet and darling and innocent as they are absolutely, like, just so nosy. They're so nosy. I was not a nosy child. If I found papers or like, I didn't give a fuck. They had nothing to do with me. And if they did, I didn't know it. And so I didn't care. Like, not a nosy person. I don't care. But she reads it by holding it up to a mirror, right? Unbeknownst to Kristen, Lila and her sisters wind up absolutely loving this story. Okay, like Lila brings it upstairs and the girls all read it together. And from what I can gather, the story is about a woman who lives in a mansion with her 4 daughters. And when Dr. Boggs calls for Kristen and Laura realizes he's the one who wrote the story, she demands more. Like, we need more. We need to know what happened. What happens, right? You need to finish this. And this interaction with a fan makes Boggs insanely happy because at the time he calls the house, he was ready to throw in the towel. He had started to do the chant to channel a demon or whatever, his muse, right, to do some writing, and he was just so over it, like, and wasn't feeling it, and was starting to kind of doubt his book and whatever, and where it was going, and the ideas he had, and whatever. But when Laura, like really boosts his, like, she really kicks his ego up a notch, right? And just tells him how amazing the story is, and talking about her favorite parts that she's read so far, and gives, ideas on how to carry the story forward. He gets so excited and so ridiculously happy that he, once he gets off the phone with her, he starts singing the song and playing the record and type. Like, damn. Kristen meets up with David and Ben at a marina in the East River, where a very rich man has himself kind of held up on his yacht. He is sure a demon is following him, and that the creature started its pursuit when this guy invested in the stock market and, like, hit large, right? He shows them footage he's captured via security camera, and we see a figure that looks like it's wearing a black hoodie and walking very oddly, like, just not people-like at all. Very, very odd. Seemingly causing light bulbs to implode as he passes. The figure has gained access to the yacht, but it has not been able to break through the final barrier and get to the guy yet. Ben links his phone to the ship's security cameras and says he'll monitor. So the next time there's a notification of fuck shit happening, Ben will get the notification. He'll see it. He can call the police. He can get over there. Like, Ben is on the job, right? David meets up with Grace, and she has a vision that links his current case to one of the demonic sigils. He returns to the yacht to show the rich guy. The man recognizes it from a logo on a pen belonging to a woman who used to come to the bank where he worked as a teller. So the team visits the woman, who says her uncle gave her the pen. Both her and her uncle like the yacht guy, right? Like the other rich dude, got rich quick after investing in a stock called DF, which just happens to have the sigil as its emblem. Okay. Both she and her uncle, like the yacht owner, were sort of dogged by a scary shadow figure who, after, soon after they hit it rich, right? It's like, they make a million or whatever, and all of a sudden they get feelings of being watched, being followed, and when they turn around, they see this figure. And you can't make anything out about it except that it's tall, it's lanky, and it's kind of menacing, and it's always like there. She got rid of this thing, this presence, by giving away literally everything she had bought with the money she earned with the DF stock stuff, right? When David, Ben, and Kristen visit the woman's uncle, they learn he did the same. And his list included his rhinoplasty. He had like a nose reconstruction. A LASIK eye surgery. He had LASIK done on his eye. And his wife's breast implants. Gave it all back. Which means he dug out his eye, he removed his nose, and also removed his wife's tatas. Yeah, it was a lot. Before the yacht guy can do much with the information that the assessors have given him, the shadow figure gets onto his boat. Ben sees it all on the security footage, and he calls 911 and races to the marina, right? Where the yacht guy is found dead floating in the river. Like, by the time Ben gets there, the cops are all there, and dude's just a-floating. Kristen and everybody look into the DF Global Solutions, which they learn is a real estate, social media, and crypto trading company. They do it all, people. They do it all. Actually, kind of sounds a lot like Leland's company. After Karima assists Ben in trying to figure out what's going on, she buys a bunch of DF shares, and soon starts seeing the shadow figure in all her peripheral, right? Whenever she just sort of is, he's right there. And she is freaked the fuck out about it. She's the one that was giving Ben all these explanations for the lights exploding as the guy's walking by. And I mean, she was really breaking shit down for him. And now she is freaked the fuck out. In an effort to prove that it's all nonsense, Ben buys some shares too. And soon is running from the shadow as he heads home by himself after meeting with everybody one night, right? David poses that the figure accompanies the stock tip, not the stock success. So Kristen has Ben give her the tip, and she sachets her skinny little butt straight over to that guy that she beat up in the grocery store. He's been kind of harassing her and doing videos online and whatever. Listen, I gotta tell you, my thought before I saw where she was going was that she was gonna go give it to the guy who'd killed his wife in the previous episode. I can't remember his name now. But Logan, yes, Logan. That's what I thought was happening. It was even better when she went to this other fucking guy. I was like, yes. Actually laughed out loud a little bit. It made me kind of happy. So she goes to him and tells him that she wants a truce. And to show how, to show how on the up and up she is, she's even going to share a hot stock tip with him. So to get back to Grace, the church is frustrated that Grace isn't having many visions. But after she has one during David's visit, the priests that are all sort of assembled, she's got this whole entourage around her at all times, right? So all those priests and the entity members start listening to David, because David goes in. She's like all overwhelmed and everything, right? And she asks to take a break, and they're like, nope, no break for you. Like, we're doing this. There's too much time has passed. We're playing catch up now. Like, yeah, pony, right? David comes in and he's like, okay, she's taking a break, and we're going to go take that break now, right now. Right? And he just takes her and leaves, right? She's like, we can't do that, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, yeah, we're gone. And then she starts having these visions, right? She did a drawing and whatever, and everybody's like, oh, David is the way. David suggests that they put Grace into an environment where there are children, because if we recall, she was a daycare worker. She is happiest and most relaxed around children. But the daycare that she worked at is closed. And so he kind of finagles her into being invited with Kristen and her daughters to like a Chuck E. Cheese type place, because it's I believe it was like her birthday or something, or her birthday was coming up anyway. And when David had called her about Grace and whatever, wanting to get together with the kids, right? So that, because kids equals happy and whatever. And Kristen was like, well, it's my birthday, and my, the kids and I do this thing. It's tradition, blah, blah, blah. And David feels bad for forgetting about her birthday or whatever. But they go to this place. So Kristen and the girls absolutely adore Grace, right? And the feeling is mutual. Grace really, really likes Kristen and the girls. Laura feels so comfortable with Grace that she asks when Andy's coming home. When am I going to see my dad again, right? She's getting worried. And Grace says next Thursday. Then she hops out of the ball pit, because they take turns jumping into this ball pit, right? She jumps out of the ball pit and starts drawing like mad on this placemats. She winds up filling in missing sections of the codex, and Victor LeConte is very pleased. This is a century of work in one day, in less than one day, he says. He's just tickled pink. Everybody is so happy with David right now. The next day, Kristen's girls throw a surprise party at home. And just about everybody is there. Cheryl introduces herself to Grace, and that is awkward as fuck. The tension is just... I mean, it starts off rather pleasant, right? They're chit-chatting, small-talking, whatever, until Grace notices something about Cheryl. And you see it all in her face. Her face literally just drops. I won't blame you, she says seriously, like, for tomorrow night. Cheryl acts like she doesn't know what Grace is talking about, but she most definitely knows what Grace is talking about, because as soon as Grace leaves, Cheryl's expression goes from confusion to like, right? In the kitchen, Kristen kind of awkwardly asks if she can ask Grace about Lexus, the way that, the way she previously asked about Laura's heart, right? When when Laura was going through her heart scare, her heart defect scare, and Grace had said, you know, it'll be fine, it'll heal, she'll be absolutely fine. And that happened. Like, her heart just sort of healed. She confesses her fear about Lexus not being inherently good. Grace says that that's wrong. Lexus is a good girl, but she needs you to protect her. And there are people wanting her to do bad things. Then she gets a flash and starts drawing again. Her sketches of a room, the room that Andy is being held captive in. Your husband needs your help, she says. As she says to Kristen, as Cheryl, who is sort of off in the distance, witnesses the interaction and takes a photo of the drawing that Grace has done of that weird back room that Leland has Andy in. Once Cheryl shows Leland, he grabs the dagger hidden in the back of his closet. You know, the one that when you open it, that stupid bear comes up and sings Feliz Navidad? Yeah. I fucking hate when they do that. And takes off to the rectory. He kills the priest guarding Grace. He's not doing a very good job. He's just sort of sitting there all like, you know, doing the nod and whatever. Then takes his time climbing to her room, ensuring that she is appropriately terrified before he enters. He's, you know, calling her name and, you know, kind of equating it to a game of hide and seek, and his favorite part of hide and seek is counting, and he's counting as he's going up the stairs and scraping the knife or dagger, whatever, along the stone wall, like, and it just makes a horrible sound. He's so good. But just as he's about to plunge the knife into Grace, the Monsignor bursts into the room and fights with Leland, completely foiling the plan, right? The two men wind up rolling around so much that they fall down the stairs outside Grace's room. Leland stands and limps off, clutching a very deep cut in his side. He's hurt quite good. There is blood everywhere. And we see the Monsignor kind of laying on the floor with the, like, just pooling. Grace rushes to his side and is calling for help and, you know, trying to console him. Monsignor says, my hands feel cold. Will you hold? My hand feels cold. Will you hold it, please? She prays over him, and he says, Father Ignatius, tell him I love him, but dies before he can finish the sentence. I was not expecting that. I honestly thought that Grace, if Grace wasn't killed, that she would have been in like a coma or something. I was not expecting Monsignor. Oh my God. Oh my God. That was crazy. So much happened. So much happened. So much happened. Like, Boggs has gone completely out of his mind, right? I'm convinced. I am absolutely convinced. He is so fucked. He is karmically fucked. So is Cheryl. 110%. Yeah, Cheryl is another one that is karmically fucked. I am very interested in how Andy's coming home. I want to know what kind of spin they're going to put on that, because I do not believe that it will in fact be Andy coming home. And if it is Andy, he's going to be 30 shades of fucked up. 30 shades of fucked up. Yeah. 100%. So, this was so good. This was so good. And I think through Grace, we are going to start to get some answers, or at least enough information that we can sort of start piecing more things together, if that makes sense. So I'm glad that nothing permanent happened to Grace. I think she is going to be our way to some answer-ishes, right? But I cannot wait to see next week how especially David is going to react to losing Monsignor, because I mean they were friends. They had a lot of respect for each other. So it's going to be rough. I think it's going to be very rough. But anywho, I enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed it with me. And until next time, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.